Hello, my VIPs. I did a video earlier and whatnot. I'm taking off my glasses so that I guess you can see my face better. I did a video beforehand and whatnot, and it was basically describing how I'm just going to talk about certain gripes or certain issues I have when it comes to being in conversations where they devolve into something I never wanted, or just being subjected to hearing shit that I don't want to. So I'm going to talk about some certain situations I've been in, whether it's at home with family or just out with people and whatnot. It's gonna start off with the LGBTQ plus community talk and how I have been subjected to seeing a bunch of my own race have so much issues with a community they're not a part of. Like, I'm just gonna tell you about myself, okay? I don't give a fuck about your sexual preference, who you're into, although I don't give a shit, okay? That's you. That's a you thing. That's something you come to conclusion with. I'm not gonna make my entire perspective of you just warped around the fact that you are transgender or you're gay or you're lesbian or you're bisexual, demisexual, pansexual, whatever. I'm not gonna base my entire thought process of you just on your sexuality. To be honest with you, I feel like sexuality, this is an unpopular opinion, sexuality is beyond personal. I feel like no one should really know that as one of the first things about you. Like, what the fuck do you being into women have to do with me, nigga? Like, especially if you're not interested in me or interested into my friend who's a woman or interested into any of my family members who are women. If you're not interested in that, why the fuck do I need to know that? Like, it's just one of those things. And I'm not asking you. Especially if I'm not asking you, I don't need to know this. This is personal. That's the whole thing with the LGBTQ plus community. It's honestly really personal, and I feel like no one should know such a raw part of you, especially strangers who never deserve to even know about you to begin with. That's just my opinion of it. Now, some conversations that dissolve into it, it would be conversations that were started by people who already don't like it. And I would be like, why are you talking about something? We all talk about things we don't like, but if you have a serious issue, like a deep guttural issue with this, and you're making the entire conversation like an hour long because you want to talk about this thing that really just fucks with your entire being and whatnot, no one's forcing you. Why are you talking to us about it? Like, that's if it's the same as if I'm talking about things I don't like. Some people, whether it was family members or people at school and whatnot, who don't like the LGBTQ plus community, don't like gay people, don't like lesbians, pansexuals, demisexuals, right? They would talk about it and they would have a deep-seated issue with this community. But they're talking about it. And I'd be like, why are you forcing yourself to talk about this thing? No one asked you to talk about this. That's like if I were to just randomly start talking about fucking murderers and shit. Or if I was randomly to talk about um people who, I don't know why I said murderers. I should have just said more shit like randomly talking about incest. That aligns with it because I don't know why that's another thing. I don't like shows that talk about murderers. So yeah, that's just another thing about me. I hate shows like that. Why are we glorifying this and letting everybody know about this one murderer just so people can fangirl and just do all this art about it? It makes me fucking sick. It's why are we doing this? We're reliving people that are horrible. But anyways, yeah. So hold on. That's like if I was to have a conversation about people and then suddenly I start talking about things that really disgust me, like incestuous relationships. Like, bitch, didn't nobody ask me to talk about this shit? Why am I forcing myself to talk about something that really disturbs and disgusts me? Or bestiality? Didn't nobody ask me that shit? So why am I forcing myself to talk about something that disturbs or disgusts me? That's how it is whenever I'm in these conversations with these people and then they suddenly start talking about, oh, yeah, there was one conversation, the transgender talk. I would hear weird shit like, oh, it don't matter how much surgery they get, they'll never get a period, they'll never be a woman. It don't matter if they get their boobs chopped off, they'll never be a man. Or, oh, yeah, they trying to do all these sports and stuff like that, this, that, and the third. And I would just be sitting there and I would literally feel my brain rotten because why are we talking about this? Like, no, deadass, why are we talking about? I'm sorry, I'm giggling as I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it literally would blow my fucking mind when we're literally talking about these conversations and then you dissolve into talking about transgender and sports, knowing damn well you don't fucking do sports. You don't like sports. I don't mention transgender in sports because I don't give a fuck. Unless it's on Twitter. Then I would just I would talk about it if it's on Twitter. But then it wouldn't even be my gripe or my issue with it. It would be reporting other news outlets of it. So it wouldn't even be my opinion of it. Because I don't really have an opinion of it. I don't care. I don't do sports. I don't give a shit. It's like, I'm not athletic. I'm not athletic. I don't follow sports. The only sports I follow is tennis. Like, nigga, like, and I barely follow that. So it's like, I'm not even all on some shit like, oh yeah, the track ones, the track sports, basketball, football. I don't give a fuck about that. So why are we talking about it? Because I sure as hell didn't ask about the shit of how you felt about transgender people in sports. I didn't give a shit. I didn't ask. Like, no one asked you. You brought this shit up yourself. For some reason, thinking it will make conversation, but why are you bringing up the most controversial shit to start a conversation? Like, especially when it comes to if it's your family or if it's just casual friends. Like, why? Like, why is this the start of our conversation? Or why is this even one part of our conversation? What the fuck? But y'all, anyways, it'll be weird shit like that. And just the conversation of like, oh yeah, you never have a period, you never had this, you never had that. It's just having to sit through hearing that shit when I didn't care to hear it. Because I don't think like that. I don't think like them. It doesn't really matter, when it comes to people who are transgender or just LGBTQ plus community. It doesn't really matter to me. These are people who've had to come and grow up, go through their whole life trying to find out themselves, right? And they finally found a conclusion, which is good for them. And it has nothing to do with me. So I'm not going to make it my mission to just have a conversation, start a conversation, make it part of my life to talk about them. I don't care. I can talk about black people because I'm black. So it's just like, I can talk about black people because I'm black. I can talk about women because I'm a woman. So it's like, I could talk about people with natural hair because I have, like, medium length natural hair. I could talk about this shit because it has something to do with me, okay? It actually has something to do with me. Transgender people don't have shit to do with me, okay? I don't even have transgender friends. So it's like, why are we talking about this? But why am I talking about this is because it's literally the whole thing of the video. We're talking about conversations I've had to be in where it never started out like this. It just devolves into it. And I'm wondering why the fuck did it devolve into it if you have a problem with this certain people. You have a problem with these certain people, but they don't have shit to do with you. They're not murderers, they're not rapists. And even if there are some who are just so happen to be transgender and they're also murderers and some shit like that, just to let you know, they aren't murderers because they're transgender. They're murderers because they are murderers. They're human murderers. Anybody can be a fucking murderer, if I'm being honest with you. So to make the conversation about a murderer and then mention that they're transgender as if it adds to the fuel of it, bitch. Unless they're specifically targeting people who are transgender, or unless they're specifically targeting people who are a certain gender, it's like, what does that have to do with? Gosh, it's so stupid to me. Some of this shit is just so stupid to me. Another conversation. Oh yeah, this isn't even a conversation. This just happens. I was sleeping, inside the house, right? Then I'm woken up because I'm hearing the door was peaked, and I'm hearing a loud ass conversation amongst family members about how much they don't like gay people, when the conversation did not have anything to do with gay people. No, I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's honestly, it's like a looking back at it and kind of like a laughing to just not, or just having a wheeze of a laughter to not break down, or not even just break down, but just break down of anger, because it just makes no fucking sense to me. I'm being woken up out of my sleep because you want to talk to this other family member about how much you do not like gay people, when the conversation actually started off with you talking about a relative. You're talking about a relative who is cis with kids and who has been with only the opposite gender, and you somehow managed to make that conversation about a gay person, all because you don't fucking like them. That doesn't make any sense. Why, if you don't like them so much, why are you giving them power? Cause nigga, I don't like fucking people who devolve into ancestry. I don't like people who rape people. I don't like any of that shit. And you notice how I don't make all my videos about that shit. I make my videos about videos I want to make about. Yes, some of them could talk about people who murdered people. Some of them could talk about people who sexually assaulted people. All that is just to be informative in some of those videos. But I don't make it my mission to start conversations about that, or even just to make those part of a conversation. I do not, because I get upset about it. I get as upset as that relative was when it came to gay people. They literally got fucking angry and was admitting that, oh, they felt hostile feelings towards them. My nigga. Yeah, this is where you cut off the conversation, because if you're literally escalating the conversation by literally yelling at the top of your lungs about how much you fucking dislike these people, it's not worth having a conversation about anymore, because that's how I feel in certain conversations of things like how I mentioned with, you know, people who sexually assault others, you know, people in weird ass relationships like that. Like, that's how I feel. I get angry as fuck at those conversations. That's why I don't really have conversations with people about them, because they literally upset me. So it's like I'm not gonna, there's no point, especially if it's not my whole life. This does not wrap around my whole life to where I should just be yelling at the rooftops about how much I fucking dislike it. Okay, there's a lot of things I fucking dislike. I'm not gonna make them part of my conversation just so that I could upset myself, nigga. Like, this not, it's not worth it. Like, it's not worth it. Another conversation, just, this is all just off the LGBT tag. Damn, it's just all off the LGBT tag. I think that's gonna be it for it. Let's actually switch to the COVID one, actually. Now, the COVID one, being sit through it, right? I'll just let y'all know out the gate, you know, I already got it. I already got the vaccine for it. You know, my main gripe or my main issue when it comes to this conversation is when it's ham-fisted into my fucking throat, okay? I never could stand when the vaccine first came out, and literally, it was, the people were acting like it was the messiah of this generation. Bitch, no, it's not. Like, during 2020 and whatnot, the vaccine first came out, me and my family were just like, oh, okay. We just shrugged that shit. Like, literally, that's how we were. It was not no big conversation. It wasn't no topic at all to even look at. We didn't give a fuck. Like, we literally did not go anywhere anyway to be getting COVID easily, like, talking with. We never got it. So it's like legit. We never got it during 2020 time. So when 2021 came and I finally went to college, it was my freshman year of college, right? And since I'm in nursing, I'm gonna hear about COVID. But what annoyed me most was just, we're in a 2-hour class. Why did we take up more than an hour talking about the vaccine? And if we don't take the vaccine, we're gonna die. Like this pregnant woman who didn't get the COVID vaccine and her baby passed away. Okay, that was you obviously told us that story as a way to, you know, fear factor people into getting the shit. And I was like, okay, this is getting annoying, because before this, right, in a class that had nothing to do with anything regarding health, physical health, right, English, we just randomly started going into a conversation about how much they did not like masks, because 2021 we were wearing masks on campus. We went to a conversation, we don't like masks. Oh yeah, I can't breathe within. I say we, I don't mean me, I mean some of the people in the class who were all agreeing, right? And it was English, where we write papers, and none of our papers were on this topic. So I was just like, what the fuck are we talking about? Talking about they don't like masks, they don't like how they have to wear it outside because, oh, or in the classroom because, oh, it's gonna spread anyway, this is that and third, oh, I can't breathe with this shit. Ugh. And I'm just like, we have been wearing masks for over a fucking year. Like, why are you just now, why are you still having a problem with this shit? Like, I was like, what is this? And then talking about, oh, you need to get the vaccine because this is that and third. And I'm gonna say this for everyone, and I'm over here just thinking, I hate attention seeking type bitches, bro. Why are you, like, especially if the conversation where you're talking to the whole class about it, it's like you're prolonging the class time, because some classes will actually let you get out earlier if there's no more questions, right? Why are you prolonging class time by talking about shit no one gives a fuck about? Like, I was just like that. Like, don't nobody give a fuck about this shit. That's what annoyed me most and whatnot. Some could be like, oh yeah, well, you obviously give a fuck about it. I give a fuck about the fact that it's being shoved in my face constantly. And the reason why, it's not that I didn't expect it, it's just that I didn't expect it from places that didn't have anything to do with it. I did not expect to hear this shit in English class in the morning when this class is already damn near 2 hours long. Why are we talking about this shit? It's like it's nearing lunch. I'm not thinking about the fucking vaccine or COVID. Nigga, I'm thinking about what I want to eat. Like, God damn it, I'm thinking about getting out of here, going back to my dorm, bro. Relaxing, nigga. Getting some more sleep. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about this other shit. And I'm not thinking about you complaining or your gripes about this shit. Like, don't nobody, we don't care. Like, it's been over a year when it comes to the mask, and you still have an issue with it. Like, whatever. Like, deadass, they make it seem like, oh my gosh, like, I literally am wearing a hazmat suit, bro. There's no oxygen. There's nothing I could breathe out of, bitch. Like, no, it was not that serious. It's literally just a surgical mask. Honestly, you can swipe it slightly and you'll be able to breathe better. Like, it's literally not that hard. Like, it's literally not that hard. You're acting like this shit is cotton, and it's not. Like, I was just like, you don't have a cotton mask on. You literally have those doctor masks on. It's actually easier to breathe in those. Like, I don't know. But it would, that's from school. Going home and hear your family, right? After COVID in 2020 and 2021, not having a big issue with like talking about vaccine or COVID in general, right? Tell me why 2022 hit and suddenly we want to make a conversation about vaccines. I was like, oh fuck. Like, and what made it worse is that you don't want to be an asshole and basically tell your relatives to shut the fuck up, but or just stop talking in general. You don't want to be like that, or just not even just relatives, just friends about it, right? But nothing annoys me more than coming back and we're just having a cool conversation and it suddenly dissolves into this conversation about something you don't like when it comes to, oh, the vaccines and the government or this is that and the third. They're doing this, they're doing that, and I would just be thinking in my head, just like, we're having this conversation and you're acting like all of us are anti-vax, or you're acting like none of us has gotten the vaccine, when realistically most of the family members you're talking to right now and complaining about this shit too have already gotten this shit. So it's like, we've already have it. Like, what 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 gripe do you have about it? And then if you ask us why we got it, it's not gonna be some weird, oh, philosophical, this, that, and third. Like, I realistically just got it because he, well, family member had it. Realistically, I'm gonna be honest with why I have it. Like, another family member had it, and they've had it for months before I even got mine, and they were fine. So I was like, okay, and then I got it. And then in the future, I'm probably gonna have to get it again because I'm literally going into nursing. A lot of the shots I had as a child, shots I haven't had since I was 3, I'm gonna have to fucking get again, okay? Or I'm just gonna have to show the records to, you know? So I was like, okay, let me just get it. Like, it was just that type of shit. It's not no whole philosophical, oh my gosh, beginning, end of the world type shit as to why I got it. No. I just got it. Like, I don't know. I guess it's not just with family, it's just with people in general. It's like, I don't know why you expect such a like detailed description of why in the world certain things happen. It's like asking a person why they got a fucking tattoo of a rose. Like, they just wanted a tattoo of a rose. Like, it's just that type shit. But my reason, it was more so just that, like, seeing another family member was safe from having it. They hid that they had it for months. So I was just like, oh, you're doing good with it. Okay. And then I realized that in the future I'm probably gonna have to get it. So I was just like, let me just get this and whatnot. And I wasn't alone getting it. That's what made it better. I wasn't alone getting it. And every time I'm talking with other family members and then it devolves into this conversation of vaccines, I realize they don't actually know I already have it. Or when they forget. I think they forget. I'm normally just quiet when it comes to these conversations as I get older because I feel less inclined to have these conversations. That's probably why I'm more quiet with it, because I realistically don't actually want to talk about this shit anymore. Like, when I was younger, I would just push through it and let myself just, act like I'm interested in it, and it's only done me bad. Like, it hasn't suited me, I've only had to sit through and hear disturbing shit when I could have just been relaxing. Now, as I get older, I try to cut conversations shorter because I don't give a fuck about how you feel about this controversial opinion. I don't care. I don't think about this on a regular basis. I don't try to think about this on a regular basis, to be honest with you. I don't have too much of an opinion on it because it doesn't warp around my life. It doesn't wrap around my life. Why would I waste my life talking about this shit? Come on. Why are we talking about this if I I have intelligence. Most of the people you're talking to have intelligence, and we're your family. We have brains of our own, and we have logical reasons as to why we think the way we do. What stops us from telling you our logical reasons is because of the judgment we'll get for telling you why we think this way. That's what stopped me a lot of times. That's what stopped my my sibling. Even with my friend, that's what stops some of my friends from talking with their own families about how they feel about things. It is the judgment, Because we'll logically explain something to you and then you let your emotions get in the way and then you want to shame me for actually having my own brain and not thinking just like you know? That's why some conversations were so uncomfortable and awkward. Because I'm just like, I want it to end. Because if I tell you how I really feel about this shit, I'm basically gonna get shunned. It just makes things off. It don't feel right. But anyways, that's gonna be the end for the video. Damn, this was what this was freeing. I feel good now. A lot of the conversations that were uncomfortable, I haven't had them in months. If I'm being honest with you, it's been months. But I talk about it now because back when I was gonna talk about it, I realized that I felt too emotional when it came to them. Like, I was really fucking mad. Like, I was just like, I was so sick of it. I'm sick of having to be in these conversations and hear how you think, knowing damn well that if I tell you how I think, you won't give a shit or I'll be treated differently. I was sick of it. I was like, I'm too damn old. I actually used that in my head. I was just like, I'm too old to be agreeing with you all the fucking time. I don't, in fact, I'm too old with pretending like I agree with you all the time. I don't care how you think. Doesn't matter to me. But anyways, that's for everybody. That's for fucking everyone. When it comes to the ones who put me in those uncomfortable predicaments, that's for everybody. I don't care how you think. When it comes to y'all, care how y'all think. Y'all didn't put me in uncomfortable predicaments and whatnot. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later. May peace be with you for an eternity.